for those people who don't know, like, what are some of the benefits of using a motion capture robot arm? Talk a little bit about the robot arm you use. I feel like most people's knowledge of a robot arm is that Kendrick Lamar shot that everyone's seen of the robot arm. I feel like that, and then that's the only one I could really think of.
Yeah, to me, I think I first saw robots in like 2017 at NAB and went out to Vegas. I see my guy Rick. He let me stay at his house. One of my mentors that I consider, but like a big brother. But going out there to see NAB and seeing the robots, and I was working from Tesla, so I was like already keen to the robots. But then I'd seen people put cameras on the ends of robots. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I want one. And I really, really want one because I feel like that's where filmmaking is going. So I think I had reached out to these other companies. They didn't respond. They didn't really get any response to me about wanting to train with it and learn and all that. And then I came across Sisu, and I was like, this looks like a cool company. And I'd reached out to them, and in 2019, they were doing like a program to get robots in the hands of filmmakers. Yeah. I didn't make that cut, but they had emailed me, and they were like, hey, we love your work. Yeah. 'Cause I was doing like a lot of my product work in the garage. Yeah. And I think that's where a lot of people start, is their garage. Yeah. Yep. And just like dialing in my lighting and all that stuff in the garage. Yeah. And the one thing that kind of held back me acquiring a robot earlier was the fact I was working out of a garage. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They're like, well, it doesn't really make sense to be in a garage, you know? And so they're like, if you were in LA, it'd be a totally different story. Mm. That's why I was like, fuck, I just need to be in LA. Yeah. And so that was when I really made the transition to LA, was after talking with Sisu and then going through the 3 years of driving back and forth and then actually moving to LA. And when I got to LA, I think you guys had your grand opening here at CinePacks. Yeah. And I already got, I think I had already been approved for a robot for like a couple months. And I was like looking for a home to like house this robot. Because at the end of the day, I told myself, I'm gonna get a robot. Yeah. I don't know how I'm gonna pay for it, but I'm gonna get a robot. Yeah. And that was just like one of my mental, like, I don't know, man. I still don't know how I have a robot to this day. That's pretty crazy. It's kind of crazy. Because I always told myself I literally told myself I would do anything to get a robot. Yeah. Like I would work my ass off. And I do to this day. Yeah, no, that's definitely why I want to have you on the podcast too. It's just the amount of hustle, like no matter what, you know what I mean? Even just like these like challenges, that's like why I brought up, you know, like the drone incident and just all these other things, like just like the consistency of like failing.
It doesn't matter, like, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter like if, you know what I mean? Like you drop a project and, oh, maybe that one looks bad or whatever, but it's just the consistency of just moving forward every time and just learning from those mistakes. And I feel like that's one thing that I've seen you do is just constantly trying things, you know what I mean? And growing. Word. And like one of the first things that like I feel like was one of the things that helped blow our studio up and, like help your company as well, is like we did these collabs with Aperture and we had like a horrible budget. Like we're like, we basically just they gave us a small budget and we put everything back into it. Yeah. But we went over budget. Like, and then you came out for free that day and like we hit you up and you're like, I don't know if I'm going to do it. And then we're like, okay. And then you're like, all right, I'll come out. And then you came out and then I think we were just going to do tripod and handheld that day. Yeah. But like, the amount of production value the crane added, like you came with what's it called, and we filmed all these split screens. So our intention was to just film split screens, and everyone. And the craziest thing, these clips went viral. Like all these clips, like at least have done numbers. Like not even on our pages, on other filmmaking pages, they've been reposted like everywhere. Yeah, it's been insane. And it's cool to see that. And like we get comments like, "Oh, what movie is this from?" And it's like, no, it was just practice. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like we were learning how to use the wall. We were, You know what I mean? It was really just and we literally crammed like 5 or 6 shots in a day, and we filmed all these. Can we pull up some of those shots, Josh?
Yeah. Hey, and I think that says a lot.
Yeah.
That these are test shots, and people are asking what the name of the movie is.
No, exactly.
I'll tell people it's like The Fall or whatever it is. You know?
A different name each time. So we would just try different things and see like ways that we could utilize, like all the technology that we have, like whether it's like aperture, like changing the color of the lights in this scene. And then we did the gag, like where we brought in different props. And then like with you being able to just like, punch in as close as you can with the crane. Like it was, yeah.
Dude, I absolutely love all the content we've done and created. We've just grown so much.
Yeah.
And to think about that, this was 2 years ago.
No, it's crazy.
You know what I mean? Like, how's things for you guys? Like, since we've done this content, how's things for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, this content alone, like, has really just helped us. Like, I mean, we've had, clients and whatnot, like, reach out and just be like, hey, like, we saw this, like, I want to create that. I feel like that has just been, like, one of the biggest things, like, the biggest investments, like, versus, like, one thing we haven't done is we haven't ran any ads for the studio.
Yeah.
Like,
word of mouth.
It's just all word of mouth. And it's just, like, like working, like, big shout out to Aperture. They like were the first people to actually book they made a video on our virtual production studio. I think even before we had a virtual production done. It was very early on. Like we haven't had that many virtual productions, and like that YouTube video alone just like really like helped establish our studio. And it's been it's been crazy. But yeah, I feel like just investing in your, you know what I mean? Like just reinvesting into like those, videos and like just proving like what you can do and just shooting test shoots, I feel like is one of the biggest things.
How important is the content, do you think? Like I've noticed how impactful the content is.
Yeah.
I was telling my fiance runs the marketing for Cinema Junkies.
Yeah.
She's been doing a lot of digital marketing and stuff, and she's been applying a lot of her strategies to it, and so we've kind of coupled the content with the strategy, and we've just seen so much results.
Yeah, no, it's insane because we just had like the podcast, we just had a couple of YouTube clips go viral too, and it's just insane, especially like with Instagram right now. I just had La Capture on. She's a content creator. And we're just talking about like Instagram's kind of like the main place to grow right now. Like Instagram and YouTube Shorts. Yeah. But like TikTok is kind of in like a different state right now. It's not where it was, but it's just kind of staying up on those trends and then just like also knowing what content does well, But
that's the virtual production content does super well.
Yeah, and it's tough too because like I feel like it's a double-edged sword in a sense because you're gonna get like we have that one of the dragon, right? I reposted that one recently. Yeah. It went pretty viral again, but it's just funny because like everyone's like it was like we said, we knocked these out within like 2 or 3 hours, like. And we have so many moving pieces. Like we're doing stunts, we're changing the lighting setups on the go.
We're changing the look.
We're changing the whole look. Yeah. We're changing the map. Josh is animating a dragon as we go. Josh is yelling at everyone. It's chaotic, but like we're just trying to see how many scenes we can get in one day. Like just to exercise those creative muscles. Mm-hmm. And the comments are crazy. Like people are like, dragons aren't real. Like, this is horrible. You could see the shadow, like just everything. You know what I mean? And like people who have no film experience, and that's the internet. People can say whatever they want, and it's fine. But it's why I say it's a double-edged sword is because like they can
tear it down.
Yeah, they could tear it down, but that's also engagement. Yeah, you know what I mean. So I feel like there's if there's some people who resonate with it and they're like, oh, this is sick, I'm gonna follow, then that's a win. But
I feel like a majority. Yeah. Majority rules in that sense.
Mm-hmm. Because if it's really bad, you don't want to like keep dropping that. You know what I mean? Like if it's all hate. Yeah. But I feel like most of the time it's like 50-50. Yeah. And even if it's 40-60, like it still doesn't matter.
My favorite thing is when other people come to the rescue.
Yeah.
It's like they're standing up for you. It's like you don't even know them, but they're standing up for the work that you created and or that you helped create, and I've always found that interesting too. And I mean, I take it as a grain of salt. You know, if you, my man T.I. says, if you live by the hurrahs, you'll die by the booze. You know what I mean? That's a great quote.